Hey everyone, welcome back to my devlog. This month has been really exciting for me because I've made some significant progress on my game. I added snow particles, a freezing effect, finished the physics system and made some quality of life changes. So, let's dive in and talk about what I changed. Let's start from the freezing effect. Whenever the player touches the snow on the ground, they start to slowly freeze to death, and if you don't leave the snow quickly, you die and respawn at your last checkpoint. I think this adds a fun and challenging aspect to the game, and I'm excited to see how you react to it. I also added a level that incorporates all of the features I've mentioned previously and some that I will mention later. You can see a time-lapse of me building the level in the background. The time-lapse only includes a very small part of the level building process, which by itself took over 40 hours. And now you're seeing the time-lapse of me adding snow particles, which are self-explanatory. It was a bit challenging at first to add them, but I managed to get it working. The snow particles now fall from the sky, creating a beautiful winter wonderland effect. For extras, snow particles are even affected by the wind, so when you move, the particles move with you. I managed to get that working by adding velocity to every single particle, while limiting the max velocity to ensure that the particles won't go light speed when the player creates any wind. I also check for the particle if it's on the ground to make sure I don't do any weird effects where particles randomly float off of the ground. Moving on, I have finished the physics system in the game. It was a bit of a daunting task, but I did manage to get it done. The physics system now doesn't glitch when the wind blows the seed onto a wall in a way that's shown on the screen, and the drag is now properly being distributed when the player stops using wind. The problem I had was that I did not decrease the forces when the player hit a wall, which caused a lot of weird bugs. My solution was casting a box cast from the bottom of the player, which is basically a box that detects if it collides with anything, and I added a detection of overall collisions on any plane. This creates three cases for me. The first one, if the player collides with a wall, but the box cast that detects the floor does not detect anything, the wind will have less effect, which will make it so that you are not going to glitch when you enter a wall. 2. When the player is doing nothing, but is touching something, the wind is completely negated and the player falls, instead of floating for a bit like in the previous versions. And 3. The box cast detects the floor and the player is touching something. The forces are not being decreased to make lifting off of the ground easier. Overall, fixing this was a huge step forward for my game and I'm happy with how it turned out. If you have any opinions on it, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I'm glad to hear them and try to incorporate them if they're good. Overall, I'm really happy with the progress I made this week. The snow particles and freezing effect add a lot of depth to the gameplay, and the finished physics system makes the game feel much more realistic. The quality of life changes also make the game feel more complete and polished. I will only have one more free update after this one, and afterwards I will move on to Steam completely. You can buy early access via Ko-fi, linked in the description, or play the early version on itch.io, linked in the description below as well. Thanks for tuning to my devlog this week. This video took over 65 hours to record and edit, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I'm very happy to see them and reply. And you know, default YouTuber stuff, like and subscribe for more updates on my game development journey, and see you next time.